For the past 7 years, I've been ordering a planner system called the Hobonichi Techo, which translates into the Everyday Life book. Because you can use it for more than just a planner. You can use it like a journal, a daily tracker, or even some people use it as a sketchbook. One thing that keeps me ordering from the company every year is how much care they put into creating the products that they sell. Even going as far as to have a launch party where people share how they use their Hobonichi and the concept behind each year's theme. This year's theme is handwriting. You can really see the nostalgia in it. Since everyone's excited about my Hobonichi, I have 7 years worth of supplies, stickers, accessories, more stickers, different techniques that you can use to put your planner together, whether you're using it as a planner or a journal, hundreds of pins, cute easy doodle techniques, different ways to get over blank page syndrome, cute portable planners, more stickers. So grab your favorite cup of tea as I share all of these items and more. One thing that has brought me great pleasure lately is being able to use up a tape that I've had on my tape cards for quite a little time now. Although I could replace the tape on the tape card with tape from the roll because I still have more of it, there's something satisfying about being able to empty the spot and switch out a tape that I've had there forever. Same goes for stickers. Many of the stickers that I have in my collection I've had for years. These are stickers that I've been hoarding to myself, afraid of letting go of them. But now there's something satisfying about knowing that they'll only last for that page. Even if I could replace them, I wouldn't want to. When quarantine struck, I didn't know what to do with my planner anymore since my days had become stagnant. So I started asking my friends on Facebook what was good in their life and recording those down in my books. This was a way to help me feel connected. I also began blocking out my routine so I would take more breaks. And on really hard days, I would ask myself what feels like self-care. That way, when I was stuck, I felt like I accomplished something since I did something on that list. Sometimes I wouldn't be in my planner for days. So I go back through and fill in those pages with stickers and washi tape. And then I go back through my text messages, my likes, my watch later lists on the various social media platforms, and I put in a quote or something that catches my interest. Other times, I just write down what I bought that day. I also have been off and on sending letters, so those go in there too. On the days that I can't think of anything at all, I slash the page out with washi tape. So I can help you answer this question, but really it's going to be ultimately up to you. So here are some questions that you're going to want to answer for yourself before you buy Hobonichi. Are you going to use it more for journaling or planning? The original is great for planning to keep it short and simple, while the cousin is great for journaling, and the Weeks is good for a good pocketbook. What size you need depends on how much you need to write in your book. Think about what size you'll be more comfortable working with. Do you need a page per day, or do you want to look at your whole week? How big do you want your month at a glance to be? Do you need a lot of room for it? Do you want to put a lot of things in your Hobonichi? Are you left or right-handed when you write? If you said yes to either of these, I recommend getting the Avec style because it's split into 2 parts of the year, and it can get quite bulky if you go with the original. Stay tuned for more Hobonichi. This is the Hobonichi guidebook. This year they're celebrating 20 years of the Hobonichi planner system. They give you a little comic. They share different ways the Hobonichi has been used over the years. They show off other people's different supplies and what they like to use in their planner and keep near them. And special this year, they show off all the covers that they have created for the Hobonichi planner over the past 20 years, which really is super exciting. I highly recommend this book, especially if you're new to Hobonichi, to get it. I can absolutely give you a flip through, but this is going to be in several parts because there's so many different ways you can use the Hobonichi. There are 3 different types of Hobonichi planner you can invest in. Starting with the cousin, it only has one major difference from the original, aside from its size. So along with the monthly pages, you get weekly pages as well. So going to the original, the cover is separate from the book, and this is an A6 size compared to the cousin, which is an A5 size. You get two versions of A Month at a Glance. You get your daily pages. You get an intro to the month page. You get blank note pages in the back. Then you get extra pages that you can fill in with different ideas. Like this one, you get favorites for the year. It also comes with different little goodie notes like different herbs and fish for the region, or seasonal things to think about, and even posture exercises. Weeks coming next. Now that we've covered over the original and the cousin, let's have a look at the weeks. The weeks is a good pocket notebook size, a little longer than the A6, but about half the size of an A5. You get your year at a glance, your monthly pages, and I like that it starts in December and then goes into January. You even get 2 months into the year, so that way it helps you bridge between planners. And then this planner is broken down into weeks. So you get 1 page for your whole week and 1 blank page for you to fill in for different notes and things that you need during your week. You even get a note section in the back of the book and a nice little guide for shorthand. And just like the last book, it gives you different regional things and seasonal things to look at. It even gives you the lunar calendar in here to check on birth dates and a metric measurement. There's so much more to explore the Hobonichi, so we'll get into that in some other videos. If you're comparing the Hobonichi to an 8x10, then yes, it is smaller. The original is an A6 size, while the cousin is an A5 size, A5 being the larger of the two. The weeks is half the size of the cousin. So the Langstrom is great for using as a bullet journal, and you can also apply a lot of bullet journal techniques to the Hobonichi. Because you get a full page for the day, you can mark it up and separate it out into sections that you need. And there are blank pages in the back, so you can create a glossary or index. And then of course you get your month at a glance in the front, so that way you can write down things that you need. You even get a second month at a glance, so it makes it easy to break it down into different sections if that's what you like. So if you're thinking about using it like a bullet journal, it is excellent for that, and I highly recommend it. So the nice thing about the Hobonichi is that the book is separate from the cover. And each year's cover is new and different, just like each book is a new and different version of last year. The nice thing about this cover is all the pockets that you get and how easy it is to put the book into the cover, even though I'm struggling trying to do it one-handed here. So that way you can carry your covers from year to year, especially if you don't like any of the new covers that are out. You can even get something called a cover-on-cover to protect the fabric, and that comes in a variety of styles, each year offering a different one. One of the many ways I like to organize out my tasks when I feel a little overwhelmed is to make a list of order of importance. So I'll just write out the tasks that I need to do in no particular order, and then I'll line them up with the numbers of what I need to accomplish and how soon. One of the things that got me excited about using a Hobonichi was seeing how many people would draw little doodles and comics and use it for different ways of studying, journaling, or archiving your day. That's where I began drawing my kawaii critters. Every day I would draw different phrases or just have them in different fun little positions to play. I love to think of them like a slice of life story. So along with writing my different gratitudes from my daily journal, I would doodle them in my book. Sometimes I would even put different quotes or use stickers or different cutouts that were super helpful to inspire my day. For this Hobonichi year, I was actually in college and I had an hour between class every morning, so it gave me something good to do and focus in on, especially since I wasn't taking any art classes at the time. So you're you're getting started with Hobonichi, first I recommend going and looking at their preview calendar as shown in the back, where it gives you a good tour of what is going on with the Hobonichi, how to use it, and what is new for this year. And I love when they go into detail about the different lineup, and because they give you little stories for each. They even give you a tour of this year's guidebook. This year's theme is handwriting, so they go through and talk about what inspired handwriting, especially since it's the 20th anniversary. And they also have a guide on different ways to use the Hobonichi. You can find all of this under fun stuff on their website, or if you want to get to it directly, you can type in Hobonichi 2021 preview, and it'll pull it up. Stay tuned for part 2. When you go to the Hobonichi store, which is the 1101/store/Techo, you're going to be greeted with that page, and then you click to Techo at the top, and it'll bring you down to the lineup of what you are looking for to buy. And you can click on the products and get them that way. As you can see, the cover and the book are sold separately, or you can buy them together when you click on the the covers themselves. Then at the top you have the drawers pouch and the accessories, where you can get all the little extra goodies, which includes the cover on covers and the stamps and the pencil boards and different little blank books that can come with it, and so on and so forth. I really enjoy the pencil boards because they're super great if you are pressed very hard and you don't want ghosting through the Tomoe River paper. Though the Tomoe River paper is a really strong paper that can hold through many different types of inks, depending on what you like to use as a drawing.
Today, let's make some cute animal borders. This is part 1 of 4. We're going to use the Sadasa felt tip pins and some mild liners. For our first border, we're going to make a dog, and you want to start out making a swirly line. Once you've made it as long as you want to put a triangle in the center of the curl. Then 2 eyes above that, and draw in the loops for the mouth. Once done, it's a great time to color it in with your markers. Next, we're going to make a cat. You want to start with an upside down check mark, and then drawing a straight line and doing a reverse check mark to complete it, making these little mountains. And then you draw in the triangle for the nose and a few little lines on the bottom, like an upside down V to make a mouth. Add in the whiskers to make it even more cat-like.
These animal borders are great to add to the bottoms and tops of your pages to really give them a little extra oomph. It's another way to make you smile for your day. Today for our animal borders, we're going to make a panda, so you want to draw a hump with a line in between them. And then you either draw a circle, or you can draw a U shape on the side of the hump for the ears, and then you want to shade them in to give them the panda look. From there, you want to draw a triangle and do an upside down V, or you can do the little U shape for the mouth bits. Then you want to draw in beans for the eyes. Now let's make a penguin. You want to do that scalloped edge for the humps, and then you want to draw the belly in using that upside down U shape. Once you've done that, you want to draw in a triangle for the beak. Then, of course, you want to add in the eyes. I love these because it makes it look like they're in a little flock together. I hope these have brought a smile for your day. Like and follow for more. Today we're going to be making some cats and a couple of bunnies. This is part 3 of the animal border series. To make these cats, you want to start out with an M shape, like you're making mountains. And then you make a triangle for the nose with a V for the mouth. Then, of course, you add in some eyes. I'm making the cat look very worried today by adding some eyebrows in. For the bunny shape, you want to make a half circle, and then the top part of a heart connected to the half circle, with a line in between. Then on the edge of the half circle, you make a triangle for the nose and add in some whiskers and eyes. For the second bunny shape, you want to make a heart, with a line in between it. Add in the triangle shape for the nose, and a couple of dots for the eyes. And of course, add in those whiskers. And there you have it, you have some cute playful bunnies. Like and follow for more.
For the last of our doodle animals, we are going to draw a bird and a duck. For the birdie, you want to start out with the top part of a heart and then a hump in between another top part of a heart. And then you put a line in between that as you repeat it. Once that's done, you want to put a triangle at the top of the hump and an eye in the center of the hump. Now the duck is a little tricky. You want to start out with a long U shape that you end halfway, and then you pull it outward like you're making an upside down moon shape to get that duck tail. And then of course a line in between them. Once you've done that, make a triangle for the beak against the U shape on the side, and then you add in the wing as a greater than sign in the center of it. And there you go, you have cute little birds to add to your planner, your homework, or something to brighten your day. It's time to say goodbye to this year and hello to the new year. Look at how chunky this year has been. This is the size the Hobonichi starts out as, and this is how it ends at the end of the year.
For this year's Hobonichi, I am staying with the same cover that I used last year because I really love my Astro Boy cover. It makes me smile still. Plus, there wasn't really any cover I was super interested in getting for the original size. One of the main featured collections of this year is Inuyasha, which I was super excited about because it's one of my favorite animes growing up. It's amazing to be able to get merchandise for Inuyasha now, especially since it wasn't available growing up. And for my weekly planner, I decided to go with something simple, a case called Dandelion and Pappus. Really gives me those cottagecore feels. Every year they give you this little booklet that opens up into a bigger picture. I never know what to do with it, but this year I decided to staple it together and make it into a little book that I can write in. I also got their cute stamp collection, done by the same person who did the picnic cover in 2019. One of the bonuses from ordering from their website is they always give you a pin. I'm excited to place this pop-up card somewhere I can see, and the stamps turned out amazing to help you form your own little comic. I liked the Lunch Date in Paris collection, but I only wanted the envelopes from there. I also loved these Nothing Special Day stickers. Just like the stamps, they're from the same artist that did the picnic cover, and I feel like they really exemplify what the Hobonichi is about. It's an everyday life book that you can put whatever you want in it. And the special gift alongside the pin is a spoon from a not-so-scary bear. Now I'm ready to plan into the new year and have many special and not-so-special days. The Hobonichi is a Japanese planning system that I've been using for about 7, maybe 8 years. The way it is laid out is very helpful for how I think. You get a year at a glance for the next 3 years, and then the quarter at a glance so you can see how each month passes, and then a month at a glance for each month. Before you get into the daily pages, you have a turn the page to the new year, where I like to put a quote for the beginning of the year. In my daily pages, I tend to keep my thoughts, interesting facts, to-do lists, photo memories, gifts that I've received and want to give to people, and more. There are even blank pages in the back of the book for you to take extra notes. I like to keep addresses and phone numbers and other important contact information in it. They also have different informational pages from measurements to conversions and international sizes. They also have a place where you can keep your top 100 things for the year. I like to put food or movies here. Since I got the English one, you get to read the insights into Japanese culture here, such as these fun meals, different animal proverbs and phrases, and then of course you have your personal information that you can put at the back of the book in case you lose it. One of the things that I love about the Hobonichi cover is in this back pocket here there's a little secret note. It says Nandemo nai nichi omedetou, which means Happy Nothing Special Day, which is a great way to sum up what the Hobonichi is about. I also love at the beginning of the book there's space for you to keep little
stickers and paper that you want to include in your Hobonichi. There are also these tassels that are great for keeping track of where you're at for the day. The butterfly closure on the side of the planner is a great way to keep your pin safely tucked with your planner. And it does an excellent job of keeping the book closed in all sorts of bags and conditions. Super helpful when I'm on the go. So the Hobonichi is about a know-nothing special day. Perfect for planning and journaling. There are 3 different sizes to the Hobonichi planner system. The original A6 size, the Hobonichi Weeks, which is pocket size, and the cousin size, which is A5 size. The Weeks I use for appointments and to-do lists. The original I use for keeping track of lists, quotes, gratitudes, pictures, traveling experiences, different kinds of gifts that I've been given, and different movies and TV shows that I've watched over time, as well as a whole bunch of stickers in them. For the cousin, I use the day free to keep track of my role-playing adventures, whether it be for solo gaming or when I'm with a party. There are so many different ways to use the Hobonichi, and the pamphlet from 2021 shows this excellently, as the theme was handwriting. You can use it to collect recipes, keep a photo album, write movie reviews, have fun with stickers, pasting event tickets, starting an entry journal, and having to-do lists, writing about what you eat, pressing flowers, and writing about your family. Great for testing stationery, recording graphs, keeping a list of what you like, and tucking away cute packaging. Use it to help you study another language, or manage and track your health. Keep good luck charms in it. Or draw out your daily plans. Write down your thoughts and discoveries, or keep track of your gaming. Paste in things on sticky note. Keep track of your purchases. Illustrate your learning or how to draw. Collect different memories. Make it into an art journal. Do a drawing a day challenge. Write about your work, or keep track of the news. Print out photos from your smartphone and put it in there, or write about a theme. Record your daily outfits. Put in places where you've been or want to go. Create still life art or practice your typography. Create art and test out different mediums. Improve your calligraphy. Keep it as a notebook to write down your ideas. Keep it as a snack journal and write down notes from your meetings, interviews, or conferences. Write down your favorite phrases or keep a pet journal. How do I stay consistent in all my planners, notebooks, sketchbooks, and journals? Let's reframe that question. What does consistency mean to me? And how does that definition of consistency affect my journal, planning, and sketching? In our society, how we think about consistency is doing something every day. Doing the same thing all the time, never deviating from the path that we set ourselves on. Or in this case, always being in the book all the time. Doing the same thing over and over and over again. Until it's this curated thing that we can commodify. But for me, that's not sustainable. I get bored. Life happens and throws me off my game. Or I just don't feel like being in my books sometimes. So how I like to think about consistency is more like you have a regular customer that comes into your shop. They don't order the same thing all the time, and they don't always come in at the same time. But they're there often enough that you know they exist, and you're happy to see them. That's how I like to treat being in my sketchbooks, journals, notebooks, and planners. Sometimes I get really involved in my books, and I'm in them every day. Other times, I'm only in them like maybe once a week, maybe even once a couple of weeks. I give myself permission to fall out of the book, and I give myself permission to come back in to the book. Sometimes I even let the book be empty and move on to a new one that I get more excited about. And when I am ready to be back in my books, but struggling to get back in them, I look at different collections. I research different ways that I can be in a book. I organize, I test out supplies, I use journaling prompts or journaling adventures. I find friends who like planning too. I redefine what consistency means to me all the time.
I'll do another video on the ways that I get back into being in my planner or journal when I find that I'm falling out of it. But for now, my question to you is, what does consistency mean to you? How would you like that to look in your planner? And how do you work with it when you fall out of it? If you're finding it to be hard to be in your planner, what is ways that you can make it easier for you to be in the book? Sometimes it could be things that are simple as changing the type of paper you're using, working with a different kind of pen that makes you smile, adding color. If you work on solving these questions for yourself, you're more likely to be back into a journal, planner, or sketchbook and keep it with some kind of regularity for yourself. Staying consistent in your planner, notebook, sketchbook, or journal is not always easy, but there are ways you can make it easier for yourself when you find it to be tough. For me, I am constantly collecting different stickers, papers, and other different things to put in my planner to help me be excited about what I am writing in every day. And when I say I am constantly collecting stickers, I really am constantly collecting stickers. I have books and books of stickers that I have kept, or I have this ordering service or the subscription box, whichever one you want to call it, called Sticky Club that I get from a lot, and they give you monthly themed stickers, which can make being in your planner, notebook, or journal so much more easier to get into when you have a theme that you can work with either daily, monthly, or weekly. By pairing a lot of the stickers that I currently have with some of the themes that come with Sticky Club, I am able to keep myself organized or reorganize myself in a way that makes sense so I can come back and be in my planners, journals, or sketchbooks more easily. One of my favorite themes that have come in the mail is Magical Girls, because you can always make your day more magical. Since I've picked up sending out letters to pen pals, I've collected stationery note cards and different postcards, some of which I've even created from different packaging that's been left over from stickers I've bought. Speaking of organizing, I like to keep the supplies that I regularly use in a little pencil case so that it's quickly, easy at hand, and they're great for on the go when I need to put them in my bag. I don't always use them all at once, but it's great to have them on hand. And when I find myself procrastinating, I set a timer to get my planner done. When I find myself bored, I research the different ways people use their planners, sketchbooks, and notebooks, or I go out into the world at different stores or planner meetups, or find somebody who loves planning just as much as I do. Or I even take my book on the go with me to draw outside in nature, or to write outside in nature, or in a cafe. It really helps to change up your surroundings. I even use journal prompts or tarot cards, or I even go into using journaling adventures to write more. When I feel like all of this is too much, I can scale back, or if I feel like that it's too simple, I scale up. Sometimes I even let my pages be blank. Other times I just write one or two things and fill it with stickers. Sometimes I don't fill it with stickers at all. I even do just a simple drawing. And although there are so many books that I'm in, that doesn't mean I'm in them all the time. Let myself fall out of it and come back to it when I'm ready.
There are some days that I don't have anything to plan or anything special going on. It is simply a know-nothing special day. And on these know-nothing special days, I like to write down things that have popped up in my feed, from books to anime and D&D things. From petitions and causes that I want to follow and manga recommendations to quotes that really touch my heart. And for what touches my heart goes in my Hobonichi.
Let's say the Hobonichi is a little outside your price range and you are struggling to plan out things. You've tried bullet journaling, which, by the way, most people make bullet journaling way too complicated. Go back to the basics that writer Carol, the original creator of bullet journaling, does. And you are also wanting to have a nice place to keep your memories and all of this other stuff. But how do you do that without buying a Hobonichi? Well, you create something called a Hobonichi. What a Hobonichi is either somebody's gotten a dotted grid book, or they have gotten a 360-day book like this one that doesn't have any of the dates put in. And then you label your days. Then you print out month at a glance pages that you have in the size of the book that you got. There are plenty of templates that you can find for month at a glance and week at a glance when you look on Pinterest or online at other places. If you're struggling to find something specific, I recommend looking up Filofax or Midori printouts. Those are really great to give you an idea of what you can use in your planner. And then you glue them in there. If you want to create a Hobonichi completely from scratch, I recommend looking out, again, all of those printouts that you can find online and using a Midori or Filofax style planner that is using more of a binder style clip planner, so that way you can take out and insert the pages as you go. If you are wanting a 360-day book that is similar to the Hobonichi, I recommend the Stology Editor series. They have a 360 book that comes in 4 different sizes that is great to use, and it is nice and thin. I have heard that people really do like the quality of the book. You can find this book on Amazon for under $20. The nice thing about ordering the Hobonichi from the Hobonichi's website is that you'll be able to get this clear cover on cover that can cover your original cover, and it comes in both the A6 size and the A5 size, as well as the weeks size. Every year, the cover on cover comes in different styles that you can buy them in. My favorite was a few years ago with the Tokyo cover that has all of these cute little doodles and iconic places that you can find in Tokyo. I also like to buy just the plain covers that go on top of the Hobonichi covers, because that allows me to put stickers and things on top of them, like these vinyl stickers that I had collected a while ago. They're perfect, so that way I can decorate it however I want. And if you just have the plain Hobonichi covers, the ones without any kind of doodles or any specialty things on them, they come with a little pocket in the back. And so, when you get just the plain clear cover on covers, they usually have this little slit here that will open up and allow you to access the clear cover, to access the pocket, you know. And they're very easy to put onto your Hobonichi cover because they designed it to be easy to put on. I'm having a little bit of a challenge here today because I'm trying to do it on video, of course. And voila, you have a nice cover on cover to keep your book protected and safe. Let's look at 2 different ways that I like to take notes in my Hobonichi. The first way, I like to use it in the daily log of my Hobonichi planner original size. And this is when there is a lot of different questions and things, or different things I have to keep track of that I want to put all on one page so I can come back to it for that day. In this case, we have all of the questions and responses that I would like to do based off of the questions and comments people have left for me on my video. Since I don't always need to keep track of my lists, I also write other things down in the planner for the other days. In this case, ideas and things that I've watched and other things that I've bought. And then in my weekly planner, I keep a running list of to-dos that are important for me to get to, or that I need to make sure that I remember to do later. Or in some cases, there are things that I know I'm going to do anyway, but it always feels good to just go ahead and have them checked off. Like, I know I'm going to do a quick composite for some of the animation work that I'm working on, but I like to write it down so I can check it off for later to say, hey, I have done something. And then in the week in the glance spaces, I like to put the things that I have done that day and my different appointments. So that way, 1, the days don't blend together for me,
And 2, it is easy to see if I have something important that coming week. I do keep a Google Calendar, so that way I can keep track of all of my appointments and whatnot, because I will forget it if I don't.
Let's have a look back at some of my Hobonichi planners. Specifically, let's have a look at the 2016 Cousin of X style book that I wrote in. 2016 was the first year that I decided to use all 3 sizes of the Hobonichi. I'd gotten the cousin style because I wanted to draw more in my planner, and I wanted to use this one more as a daily journal. At the time, I had about an hour and a half to 2 hours in between my classes, which gave me time to pull tarot cards and write permission slips for myself and do different drawings in the books, as well as keep different borders and keep track of a lot of the different quotes that I liked. I even practiced my Japanese in here often. This was also the time where watercolor pens and markers had just been introduced, and I had to special order some. I also didn't have a lot of stickers at the time, so I cut out things from magazines or advertisements that came in the mail, and then I would put them in my book to help decorate them. As the year went on, it became harder to keep track of everything, and I couldn't be in the book all the time. So there were a lot of blank pages. I tried to navigate this by drawing things that popped up in my feed, or even getting into different themes. Sometimes I would just write quotes to remind myself to take it easy. As you may have noticed, I have these reoccurring characters that are popping up in my book all the time. These are the kawaii critters, little chubby bean characters that I enjoyed drawing because they were easy to do and made me smile. This is also the time that I got really consistent about posting to my Instagram in hopes that I would become famous, or at least get people interested in my work and love these critters as much as I loved them. I even participated in Inktober by trying to draw out the different fears that the critters have. In between school and work and everything else, I wasn't able to keep up with it, ending with December being mostly blank. I like to archive my old sketchbooks, planners, and notebooks. It's a great way of tracking my experiences, especially since I spend so much time in these books during the year that it feels weird to let them go. And since I've been in the Hobonichi planner for about 8 years now, it's amazing to go back through and look at all of the things that have been in those years. Each year holds a different mindset, a different me, different wants, needs, and hopes. Even having so many blank pages tells a story. It's also a great way to see the different ways I chose to use the planner at the time. Sometimes putting different notes and ideas in there, or keeping track of how I felt for the day. We can even see the different ways that I chose to plan and track money, testing out different budgets that worked for me, and what some of my weekly goals were.
When I'm setting up my Hobonichi planner for the year, I like to look at some of the things that worked for me last year or in previous years, and what some of the things that I would like to include in my new year. This year, I will be including several new things to me in my planner. Specifically, I will be including the word of the year and what it means to me, which is something that I include every year. The quote of the year, that's something new. The Lunar New Year and what that means for my zodiac chart, because I like to use it as an insight into how I need to gain a better understanding of myself. My pen pal addresses, the password trackers, because it's been 2 years since I've changed my passwords and it is time to update them. I will be doing a book battle royale, which was an interesting thing that I found in one of the planning book journal videos that I was watching, as well as I will be including the collection of book covers in my planner as well. Because I think being able to see all of my book covers at once of what I've read this year is really fun. I will also be stamping over the month at a glance pages because I have a lot of pretty stamps that I haven't used yet. And I will be adding at the end of each month a end of the month review. Because at the beginning of the month, they always have these blank pages for you to maybe write for the beginning of what is going to happen in your month. But I like the idea of coming back to this page and writing out the amount of books that I've read, the shows that I've watched, the movies that I've watched, and then my best day and my worst day. That way I can have a more objective view of how my year went by the end of the year.
Sometimes I like to print out photos and put them in my planner for the days that I didn't really do much. I end up with a lot of pictures of photos from different things, from things that friends have sent me, to pictures of myself, to pictures of books that I find interesting. And since I'm more likely to flip through my planner to find things than I am to flip through my photo reel, it's a great way of keeping track of things that I'm interested in. It also gives me the space to write some more notes about why I'm interested in that thing. Or if it's a picture of myself, I write down what made me so happy about how I looked that day. Being able to write notes by these photos allows me to really have more aha moments and make me feel productive when I don't feel like I'm doing much.
A book battle royale is where I choose my favorite book for the month, and then I pit each of those books against each other, so that way I can determine which one is going to be my favorite of the year. This is a great way of keeping track of what I've read and how those things that I've read have impacted me. Especially since I read about 3 to 5 books a month, and about 7 to 8 different manga a month. Though I might create a separate page for that, so that way I'm not comparing 2 different mediums to each other. I'm doing all of this so that way it can help me stay more present in my life and not get too caught up in a lot of the humdrum and overwhelm that I have been feeling a lot lately for the past 2 years. This year's stamps are the special edition Inuyasha stamps from the Hobonichi Planner collection. And since I haven't used them yet, I thought it would be great to put them in my month at a glance pages in my Hobonichi planner. I'm using a black ink so that way it will look more like the manga pages and have beautiful, clean, crisp lines. Inuyasha was one of my favorite shows growing up, as well as one of my first mangas that I ever got. I loved that it was action-packed yet filled with romance. There were strong women characters, and although it was a monster of the week, it had a strong B-plot that kept me coming back week after week. Let's have a look at the Hobonichi weeks. This is your week at a glance calendar. I mostly use this to help keep track of my day-to-day work. For this planner, you get the year at a glance for the next several years. And then you get the month at a glance for the quarterly overlook. It's great to see all the days for the year lined up together like this. And then you get the month at a glance. I usually use these pages for budgeting. When you finally get into the week at a glance, you'll have the week situated on one side and a nice blank page on the other. And then in the back of the weeks, you get a lot of pages to make different notes of. Then you have a way of keeping track of measurements. And then you have your 100 things list, which is great for movies or tracking different things that you've done that year. Of course, you have regional things that happen in Japan, as well as some ideas to look at. They also have different stretches that you can use to help invigorate yourself for the day. And some extra pages, I forgot what these were. And then, of course, you have your zodiacs to keep track of for the year, as well as conversions and measurements. You have your address book, and then you have the space to put in the last little bit of information for keeping your personal book. The cover I chose for this year's weeks is the Dandelion and Papa's cover, but they have many other covers to choose from, so thanks for exploring the weeks with me.
I don't mind at all sharing with you where I got my Hobonichi covers and planners.
I like to order it from the Hobonichi website directly, which is the 1101.com website. You can find all of the planner sizes, and they're shipping directly from Japan, so shipping is a little expensive. You can also pick up a few of the covers and the Hobonichi planner from JetPins, which is more stateside. On the website directly, you get to hear the story behind each of the covers, as well as see all of the accessories that you can get through the website. As you can see, a lot of stuff is out of stock right now.
Hobonichi has 2 ordering seasons. The first one is in August, and the second one is in February. The August release date is going to be the biggest release date because it's going to be for the upcoming year. So 2022's release date was in August. They even make a huge production of it and release little tidbits about it a month before they launch it at the end of August. So you get to see a lot of the different collections and things that they'll have up for sale during that time. The February release date is usually a restock and also has different collections that they weren't going to specifically keep with the first launch date. Just so you know, the August release date has stuff that is meant to have a January start, while the February release date is meant to have like a spring start for your planner. That's why they have 2 different release dates. It's good to keep track of these because some of the planners and things that they have are limited edition and will only be released during those specific times and will not have a restock. Another reason why I like to order from the Hobonichi website is that they tend to give little omiyage or gifts. Specifically, you get the Hobonichi pin, and each year the pin is a different color. And then just a little something extra that they tend to give. This year it was a not-so-scary bear spoon. In previous years, it's been little games, booklets, tissue holders, a completely different type of pin, and so on. I love ordering from this company because they take such great care in trying to bring you a quality product that you can love and enjoy with all your heart. Yes, there is such thing as planner meetups, as well as plan with me's and planner conventions, on all of these things that help you come together to take time and be in your planner, journal, and notebooks. In fact, I used to run several planner meetups, and I would teach planner classes at different anime conventions. Specifically, I would call them kawaii journaling, so that way it would fit in with the theme. I don't know how much of them still exist out there since the panorama has devastated our lives. But I do know that there were several meetups in Seattle, New York, LA, London, Tokyo, different places in Korea, I know specifically Seoul. And I found a lot of these planner meetups through different websites, specifically Facebook groups and meetup.com. And if you're not able to find one near you, it's okay for you to start your one yourself. Gather up a bunch of friends who have similar interests in planning and journaling and do it together, whether that be in person or online. It's a great way of exchanging stickers and other stationery with your friends and other planner enthusiasts. One way that you can participate in doing it online, if that's how you're able to get together and plan and be in planners together and show off your planner stuff, is to send letters to each other with different stickers and stationery and such that you would love to exchange. You can also invest in different sticker boxes together, so that way you can show it off to each other. And if you're doing it in person, find your local library or a cafe to be in and exchange that time together. It's a great way of helping yourself build up consistency of being in those journals, planners, and notebooks. As well as it's a good way of handling the overwhelm that you can feel when you look at a blank page, because blank page syndrome is real. And doing planning, journaling, and notebooks can feel like it's a solo adventure, and that can be hard to keep up on your own, and you don't have to do everything by yourself. Heck, I've gotten a bunch of my friends into planning and journaling just because of how excited I am about it. The Inuyasha Planner Collection can be found on the Hobonichi website. You can find it by typing in Hobonichi Planner 2022, and it is the second link down underneath the JetPins one. Once you've scrolled through the entire collection, you'll be able to find the Hobonichi cover and get a lot of the background information on the cover. I really like looking at it on the website because there's so much detail in it. As well as you can find the accessories under the accessory tab. You can get it in the original A6 size, the cousin A5 size, the week size in this holographic print. You can get these letter cards, Miyoga bookmark tabs, several different pencil boards. I only have the A6 size, which my mom uses. They had the stamp collection, but they're sold out. And then this pop-up card. The weeks and original size is actually my mom's, so I'm borrowing it for this video. They are shipping directly from Japan, so shipping can be a little expensive, but I find that the investment is well worth it with how happy it makes me. In the 2016 Avec Style Planner, I gave birth to the Kawaii Critters. Little bean-shaped animals that made me smile that I used to practice Japanese and Chinese. I would write them saying quotes to help inspire me during my day, and combine them with different stickers. I kept up the daily doodles of them for almost a year, missing only a few days here and there. And as I drew more of them, I began to develop little stories for them. They were great companions to keep up with my planning and journaling at the time. I really enjoyed testing out the watercolor markers with them. Because they were so simple, it was easy to start setting scenes with them and do more complex drawings. I could even be really playful with them when things started to feel really hard. They were a great reminder to look on the bright side of things, especially as I got more into reading and listening to positive motivation and business and marketing, self-help, personal development, the like. I also was really developing a lot of my photography skills at the time and doing a lot of flat lays and posting them regularly to my Instagram. I thought surely since I found them to be so cute, other people would like them as well. But sadly, they didn't really go anywhere. And that's okay because they were always my cheerleaders. It was thanks to them that I was really able to build up my daily drawing skills, which I wasn't able to do a lot of at the time because of working in school and attending so many seminars, learning and trying to build a business, and life. There was so much pressure to be successful, to try and do it all. So it was fun to hang out there with the critters and think about things outside of that. Even though in some ways I did put a little pressure on them to try and get them to be successful. But ultimately, it was about having fun with them. Sometimes I would draw them doing some of the things that I was doing in my own life. And the more I drew them, the more I got to see their personalities. And since I love food so much, food was a constant theme. They are a way that I did my best to stay joyful in life and not let anything get me down. It reminded me that I loved drawing flowers, and I tried to do the different things that people had done in their planners and journals to see if I liked it, often pulling themes and different posts that I saw on my Instagram. Sometimes that felt a little like cheating, but it made me happy, so that's all that matters. And looking back on everything now, I'm very pleased with how it all looks, even if it made me upset at the time. It's a beautiful time capsule. Let's have a look at the notebooks that I kept before I was in the Hobonichi planner. This is a look at the second moleskin that I was in 2013. When I first began my sketch notes journey, I was taking a lot of the general classes and needed a quick way to remember a lot of the things that we were covering in class. I also partially kept this as a sketchbook because I saw so many people doing so many cool things with their moleskins online. And of course, I wanted to draw cool things too. It's really funny to go back through and look at some of these older doodles, especially since I tended to use a lot of stick figures. I didn't really know or have the confidence to free flow draw at the time. So I tried to keep a daily comic of a lot of the things that I was experiencing or thinking alongside the notes that I was taking for class. That way I could fill my pages quicker. Although I'm not the biggest fan of writing down dates, which in this case is a little disappointing because I would have liked to know what time specifically I made these pages. I tested out Copic marker in this book, but I wasn't the biggest fan. Reading some of what I kept in here is hilarious. Like Epic Garden of Springtime totally reminds me of the epic rap battles of history that I was into at the time. It's also cool to see a lot of my anthropology notes in here. Anthropology really opened my mind to the different ways humans and people can live. And I totally forgot about the different books I took notes about in here. One thing that I love that is consistent about going through all of these books is I have a mad love affair of food. So in most of my sketchbooks, notebooks, and planners, I have something about food in them. I even wanted to practice storyboarding in this book. Oh yeah, I was in environmental science at this time too. Seeing that I have this storyboard in the back of this book, I'll probably go back through and use it as reference for the characters that I am drawing. So there you go, that's how I used my Moleskine as a notebook and journal.
One of the creators that inspires me when it comes to my Hobonichi planner is called Mizutama. She does all of these really cute drawings in her books that are super simple and allow you to really explore different ways of doing your planner, whether you're journaling about food or you are talking about your daily life. That she shows you the different tools that she uses, as well as does breakout steps of how she does and uses them in her book. She shows the different ways of how to use them in different comic styles, whether you're doing it like you would get text messages, or you're making to-do lists, or you're using it in your month at a glance. She even has several stamp books that shows you how to use stamps as well as washi tape together to tell a story. I did have to special order these books, and I know some of them are no longer available because she's very popular and sells up very quickly. I know she has more books, but these are all the ones that I have been able to get and find, here at least. And if you want to see more of her work, I recommend checking out her Instagram. I know she does have a lot of things that she posts there. If I get enough requests from people, I will go through these and run through some of the practices and exercises that she uses and shows you how to use them in your daily planner and your life book. And if you like this, follow me for more. I don't feel like I have too much special going on with the individual Hobonichi weeks that I have, but I have used them in various different ways, so let's look at all of them and see the different ways that I've used them. Starting with my 2017 Hobonichi weeks, I started out using it as a way to track my classes, my homework, and my daily to-dos, as well as my weekly goals. And keeping track of all of that was really helpful for me at this time. This was also great for me to keep track of scholarships and the different notes that I wanted to keep during the day. This really helped keep me focused in what I was planning on doing for my daily life and my weeks. I also began keeping track of money and budgeting my different expenses. I broke it down by which days that I was spending money and what days that I didn't spend money.
Let's have a look at my 2019 Hobonichi planner. Compared to other years, these are some of the thinnest books of the Hobonichi planner that I have. My word of the year was transitions, and boy did I go through a whole bunch of different transitions at the time. I left my sales job, started an internship, and then started working with a nonprofit. I let go of old projects and started a whole bunch of new projects. Because there's so much transition going on, it was hard to find a rhythm in my Hobonichi. I did my best to take notes on things I was listening to, keep track of the conventions I went to, but I was pushing myself forward in ways that I hadn't since I first started college. And even though there were lots of wonderful moments during that year, it was still very hard to find a rhythm, and I was very stressed out by it all. The nice thing is I have plenty of washi tape and stickers to fill in some of the spaces. This year is also the year that I became more a part of the Atlanta film and animation scene, and attended a lot of film festivals. During this year, I considered not getting a Hobonichi for 2020 because I didn't know what I was doing with it, but I ended up getting one anyway. But 2020 was weird.
In 2018, I didn't start out using a week's planner, so I ended up picking up my little brother's planner because he wasn't using it at the end of, by the middle of the year. I was still using it in much the same way, but I had made a template layout of how I wanted to use it more often. So I have my daily plans, my meal plans, my language practice, the weekly goals broken down into next up, in progress, standby, and finished. This sort of was very similar to the Kanban or the sticky note board to-do list that I was using at the time. And then I would have a weekly review as well as a notes space and a motion tracker. I also was doing a monthly review, and I wanted to keep that as a way of checking in with myself more. So there is even other planner ideas that I wanted to keep track of here. And so here that layout is in action. This is definitely a style that I would like to revisit because I am not using the planner most effectively right now. I hesitate to show you 2020's Hobonichi. The pages of this book is not as full, even though I did write in it. I was still exploring if the Kanban style of planning and marking off my to-do list checks was for me. I often didn't feel like I had time to be in my planner, so I would only write things on these sticky notes. And with the world essentially coming to a stop, I didn't feel like I had a lot to say in my books. I still tried to write down special moments and different kinds of lists, and really did try to be in this book. Even wrote down some of my rage moments. And I did my best to be in it because it helped the world not blend together so much during that time. And I would make different lists and try and keep track of things that made me smile, but it was a really hard time. The year just kept getting increasingly scary. By the end, I was just so burned out. For all of my Hobonichi weeks, I use them in all relatively the same way, but there are some slight differences from year to year that I would like to share. For 2019's planner, I started out much the same way, but then I began changing it to where I was doing my daily doodles in this book to just kind of keep track of what happened during the day, because I liked how some people were doing that. Also, I was still attending different conventions and panels and conferences, and I kept a lot of the notes in the back here from those different events, because carrying this book around was a lot easier than carrying my Hobonichi planner and other notebooks that I was keeping at the time. I've been out of my Hobonichi again. Some of this is due to me not really feeling well, and although I have pictures and things that I can go back through and fill in some of these days, it's still a little sad to see so many blank pages. Since I'm now needing to track my food and eating habits for health reasons, I've gone back to making a simple comic for my daily life. Doing this simple comic has been able to help make my days feel more fun and enjoyable, as well as make it more full in a simple way, because all I have to do right now is to track a lot of what I'm eating. So putting the little bits of pictures that I'm doing, or just keeping track of some of the things that I do during the day has been a nice way to fill up my pages, and it makes it a little bit more easy to be in the book while I'm reading the book. After just under a month of drawing a daily comic in my Hobonichi planner, I have to say that I am very happy with how all of my pages look. One of the things that I've noticed about this is that it makes looking back on even the hardest days easier, because I can find ways to smile through these comics. Not only do these comics make it easier to see the good in my life, I also use them to capture ideas that I have and illustrate them a bit better, or conferences that I've been in. And for the days that I have forgotten to draw a comic, I put some stickers there. This has been a great practice with getting more comfortable with telling visual stories. I try to make sure my things aren't too wordy. And on here, this one is the face that makes me laugh the most. By keeping these comics simple, I don't feel pressured to create elaborate art, because even if I mess up, those pages still make me smile. When you're first starting out with a Hobonichi, it is totally understandable to be overwhelmed and a bit intimidated by the prospects and opportunities that you have with this planner. Because this planner is meant to be a life book, so it allows you to be able to be multi-purpose and flexible with it, sort of like how a bullet journal allows you to be flexible, but this has a bit more concrete setting to it. So my best recommendation when you are starting out in Hobonichi is to go ahead and look at some examples of how other people are in their planner. Now, just so you know, you can be as simple or as complex as you want to be. You can use stickers or you can draw. You can not do any kind of doodling, or you can do a lot of drawing. I personally like to change up my Hobonichi planning style every couple of months to every 6 months. My life tends to vacillate about every quarter to every 6 months, so I need to change how I plan. Otherwise, one, I get a little bored with doing the same thing all the time. I can do the same thing all the time, but I get bored, and I like to change it up. Two, I work contracts, so being able to adjust based off of the kinds of contracts that I'm working on, or when I'm out of contract and just doing personal work, is really helpful for me. A good example of this is how I was in my week's planner for the Hobonichi versus how I am in my daily planner. For my week's planner, I had it set up to work all of the different things that I was working on, as well as kept a tracker to-do list in this book. But in my daily planner, at the time I used my daily planner as a memory keeper, as well as a way to keep track of my goals and dreams. And every year I come up with a yearly goal and break that yearly goal down into monthly sections of how I want to complete it. Now, my world doesn't always turn out that way, especially this year, but it is a good way to kind of hone back in on what I am wanting to do. Now that the contract that I was on is over, I've actually switched to doing a daily comic and a food tracker in my daily planner and in my weekly planner. I've simplified my to-do list into different sections here and also added a mood tracker. So that way I can keep track of how I'm feeling day to day a little bit more easily and check in on my personal mental health and physical health. If you'd like to see more of what I've done in my planners, I do have a lot of videos that I've done in the Hobonichi previously, and I can also go back through and do more videos if you'd like, because I have a lot of resources. I've been away for about a month now, and in that time I have made more of my daily comics. So let's have a look at a few of my favorites. The first is about our barbarian, who happens to be a bear, and she also has an axe that requires her to take non-violent actions first before resorting to violence. And she also happens to remember that she has the ring of hugging, and so our Minotaur had to hug it out with the bear. The chickens are always naughty little creatures who always go running off into places they're not supposed to be. So they jumped into the ditch going after frogs and snakes, and I had to chase them back. I was able to grab them and pin them down, and then we had a chicken dance party. I've been enjoying making market salads, and these are some of my favorite ingredients. I can't always remember all that I do or have like a full page for a comic, so sometimes I just put some of the things that I do in video games. I've been going out on aesthetic walks for my mental health, and here are some of the things that I did on my walk this day. I even made a doggo friend. I've been taking my journal out on aesthetic walks with me, and I happen to decide to incorporate some of that writing into my daily comic. Maybe next time I will read some of them out more often. Right now is actually the best time to start getting into looking at the Hobonichi for the New Year's collection, specifically August 1st when they start the countdown to their official release dates, which happens on September 1st, Japan time. This year they've actually started a little early because they are collaborating with some really amazing people. Specifically, they are announcing their One Piece collection, as you can see here, and they are doing a special run of it, so you can pre-order it early on the 1101.com website. As for the spring release, it is best to start checking in on everything in February, because that is when they are going to start announcing the different covers that will be available in April. Or March, if I remember correctly. You can keep tabs on the Hobonichi on the 1101 Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook.
In my Hobonichi, I often leave little notes for me to come back to fill in those blank pages when I don't have time to be in the book. This quote comes from one of my mom's reading groups. It really got me thinking on how I was taught to love, and those moments that I learned to love.
I've had so many different people come into my life and show me the ways that they love, and they don't all look the same. So I thought it was a good time to record some of those moments. I learned to love when my mom searched high and low for different books and ways to tame my hair from being the curly matted mess it was, especially when no one else had hair like mine. I learned to love when my 3rd grade teacher was finally able to give me the help that I need so that I could learn and love science like she had taught. I learned to love when I called my art professor crying on the phone and he would sit and listen. And when you look at the whole of the people who have shown me kindness and have taken their time to help better my life, it is a way of God, Goddess, or the divine, or whoever you believe in, showing that they love you, or in this case, love me. And I am so grateful to all of that. So with the January start of the Hobonichi, it's coming out soon, like the release date and everything, so that way people can prepare for the new year. While the spring start isn't going to be launched until closer to January, February, so people can have it in April. Because, a little bit of backstory, a lot of Japanese school year and different events and things don't start until spring. That's why they launched the spring collection closer to April and whatnot. You're going to get sneak peeks of it during the events that are happening right now to be able to showcase the launch of the Hobonichi, but the spring start won't be officially available until after the new year. while the January start is going to be available on September 1st, Japan time. I hope this clears up some of the confusion with the launch of the Hobonichi, and I'll be updating more on what's going on with the Hobonichi soon. Fingers crossed my camera will cooperate. With us only being 5 days away from the Hobonichi launch, we have a lot to cover, especially since we have cover reveals and the store lineup. So to start out with, we have a lot of original covers to go over. I'm going to highlight my favorite ones, but I definitely recommend you go to the website and check out what's new. For the plain covers, I really like this violet cover. It has a nice blue and lavender feel to the color, and it just really screams me. Next, I love this Shibata Zeshin small white butterfly cover. It has a nice watercolor feel to it, and the interior also has a watercolor transition as well, which I think is just a cute touch. I also think the Hanabata cover is very quaint and very cute in its simplicity and the vibrancy of the red. It definitely looks like a flower party. For you Aristocats fans out there, we get an exclusive Marie cover that has this cute little milk and cookie on the bottom. We also get another Disney exclusive from 101 Dalmatians. I love the little bone on the bottom with the mask. If you know me, I love these kind of pastel flowers, not necessarily in like a too busy pattern, but I think this hits the spot. And it's aptly named Betsy. For those of you who really liked my Inuyasha cover, here is your last chance to be able to get this cover. They only have it in the original size, and I'm pretty sure they're low on stock, so get it while you can, come the September release. For the cousin size, this flamingo, the night flamingo really hit the spot. I love the kind of blue-purple we have and the hot pink. Also, for you music lovers, you're going to love the Tokyo Metronome. I love this retro mother cover, definitely something to go check out. And we cannot forget the One Piece cover. This one is one of my favorites out of the covers that they have shown for One Piece. This tweed is absolutely gorgeous. I love the texture of it. And then if you're a fan of purple and have a little bit of money to invest in this cover, because this beautiful purple leather cover is definitely an investment. Last but not least for the cousin covers, we are getting the last Animal Crossing cover that they have. So if you love Animal Crossing, this is your last chance to get it. And again, it only comes in the cousin size. For the weeks, I love this soft pink lavender color. They also have one named after my favorite soft drink, Ramune. This is the one that I'm probably going to get. It's called Cafe. And this bunny cover is giving me Peter Rabbit feels. More 101 Dalmatian. And this Grand Line one is nostalgic. And we're gonna leave off with this classy cover that I recommend. We are only a short few days away from the launch of the Hobonichi store internationally, so let's look at the accessories. There are a lot of tools and toys for us to look at, some new and some returning. Starting out with some of my favorite, the Deco Rush tape is absolutely adorable, and it is also erasable, which is very interesting for me as somebody who sometimes misplaces things. More cool One Piece stuff with these peekaboo letter note papers. I always love getting a new cover on cover, especially when they are very nicely detailed like the Celestial Star one. The little animals on here are just so sweet. This One Piece Don stamp really has the theme playing in my head anytime I see it. Get these fun 101 Dalmatian shitajiki boards or pencil boards for you to enjoy. You can also find the One Piece shitajiki boards for you to also enjoy. I like the comic panels on this one. This decorative cloth has a very sweet spot for me. I just love the simplicity of the patterns, and it's great to add as like a wrapping or something special. We have tons more Marie stuff, from little folders to these little pencil pouches that are great to check out. And you never know when you need a good postcard to send to a friend, so these are probably going to go into my collection. They have these cute elephant stickers that are actually a part in collaboration with a artist that they have. They also have like a bunch of other covers with it. I didn't highlight in my last video because I think I like the stickers better than the covers. And even more One Piece stuff with these cool stickers. And you also get these fun One Piece stamps. I forgot to mention that the One Piece stuff won't be available until the October release date, which sometimes they have delays like that for things that are specialty things. You get these cute bags that are also in the Betsy pattern, and we also see more of the return of the Animal Crossing cover, as well as some cool, fun, like stop motion looking mother stuff. Did I say cover? I meant Shitajiki. And then my new favorite are these stampo. Essentially what it is a little portable desk stand, so you can always have your accessories with you, and you can also carry your Hobonichi in there as well. It is great for on the go. I also love how many pockets it has. With that being said, of course we can't forget the drawer pouch. This comes in several different sizes, so you can carry all of your accessories with you in a more flat surface compared to the last one that I showed you. Think of it like a wallet for your Hobonichi, where you can carry all of your stuff together as well as your Hobonichi in the bag. I love that it has this accordion fold out so you can see everything inside it. Nandemo nai nichi omedetou is written in the back pocket of the Hobonichi cover. And what it means is Happy Know Nothing Day. When I say that the Hobonichi book is a life book, what I mean is there are some days that you are going to have much to write about, and other days that you won't have any energy to write in the book at all. So what you can do is leave little notes for yourself to come back through and write in those pages. Or if you're using the book for planning and you have blank pages, why not go back through some of your likes and favorites that you have on TikTok or other apps of things that you want to come back to. I like to keep a note of the books that I'm interested in, so I'll come back to them. Put recipes in them when I don't have anything to put on those days. Now I may use my planner for a daily comic, a way to help me keep track of my memories. That's not all this book can be. This book is about filling it up with my life. And my life is whatever I want to put in it, no matter what day it is. If covering up the dates helps you feel better in filling up the book and filling it up with bits and pieces of your life, then do so. What matters is that you fill up the book and that it makes you happy doing so. And when that happens is up to you, and it really doesn't have to be chronologically. Fun with it, and I hope this helps.
It's like Christmas when my Hobonichi order arrives, and this year was one of the biggest boxes we've ever received from the company. And that's because the order this time not only included me and my family, but it also included 2 of our good friends, making it an order for 5 people this time. You can really see our personalities in the orders, from the 101 Dalmatian book to the day-free Hobonichi Techo. My friend got the Deco Rush tapes, while I got the Kita tape I missed out on last year. My bestie, of course, got her Marie bag, and I loved the star cover. The Hobonichi gift bag fits everything perfectly, and I can't wait to put the foxes on the Hobonichi mobile desk when it comes out. My bestie is adding all of the Marie things to their collection. And I was surprised at how much I liked the pin. My mom got the guidebook, and we even got some test sample paper. A lot of us loved the new cover on cover. And last but not least, we have a new person to the Hobonichi gang that had to get their new things. And then of course, what is a Hobonichi unboxing day without spending some time in the Hobonichi and knitting and chatting all together?
I have a busy week ahead of me, so let's get to planning in my Hobonichi weeks. My Sticky Club subscription just came in last week, and I'll be using this set from Shand Studios and pairing it with this tape. I usually like to start out by putting tape on the top and the bottom to make a border for me to work within, and then put the main stickers that are going to be the focus of my planning page. I don't always use borders for my to-do list, but it helps me when I'm wanting to keep it simple and not get overwhelmed. I have a lot of things to put in, but I don't remember them all, so we're only doing what I can remember offhand right now. I'll have to check my calendar and check in with everyone else to make sure I fill this in properly. Once I'm all done with that, I fill it in with the rest of the stickers. I try and use up all the sticker sheets so that way I have more reason to buy stickers. And then I fill in any of the empty spots in with marker so that way the page feels more full.
My last Hobonichi purchase for the year is this desk pouch and the one-piece Don stamp, as well as you've already seen the dancing kitsune. I really liked this because it stands on its own, as well as it has all of these nice little divider pockets while still having lots of open space to work with. It clips in the back, and it also has a pocket in the back as well for you to use when it's all closed up. I got the dancing kitsune patches to put on the front cover of this, so that way I could make it special and unique for me. Since I like the composition that they came in already, it was just a simple iron-on and making sure that everything was secure. So let's fill this up. This will be one of the only Hobonichi purchases I use before the year because this poor craft bag has officially reached its limit as to what it can carry, and I've used it for years. This will hold my Frixion pens, my sticker printer, several different types of glue, of course a sharpener and some erasers, an X-Acto blade, double-sided tape, scissors. You can't leave out the washi tape. I also like to include a hole punch for making bookmarks, my Lord Shishomaru stamp, because he's never really had a good home, my corner cutter, because I like to have rounded corners, a ruler for just in case, an ice cream cone paper clip, because I like using decorative paper clips, some paper grommets, a spooky cat decorative clip. I changed out the pink tape that I originally had in there for these cute little washi tape to-go Spencers. And then I have a cute little washi wallet that I don't get to carry around as much as I like to. Now that it's all packed, I can see everything and it makes it perfect for on the go. Looking back at a lot of my old daily comics, it's really great to see that I've put these memories together. Even if it was good, bad, or boring, it's still a moment in my day that I probably would not have remembered otherwise. Which makes it perfect for me to go back and read what I put. Because then you realize your day is not as boring as you think. Even if something is mundane about it, that doesn't mean that it's not interesting. Silly things from yelling at the chickens to talking about my own struggles to watching movies and showing that I showed up for work. All of these experiences are unique in their own right because I lived through them. Nobody else lived through these moments. And so that in itself is what makes it unique. So if you are ever thinking of picking up a daily comic, I highly recommend it. So even when you feel like there are boring days, there are still days that you can come back and look on them. I find this to be really interesting compared to a practice that I did later on in the year, which was to just write down 10 things that were on my mind. While both required me to set aside time to complete them, I feel that I come back more to look over and read the comics that I've created versus the different 10 things that I wrote down for each day. There's something about the expressiveness of each of the comics that has me feeling more like I have lived versus just existing. Not that just existing or just being in the experience is wrong or anything. It's just two different perspectives of looking at the world. I'm hoping to pick this practice back up in this year. I still haven't quite found my rhythm for it yet, which is okay because I've decided to not rush into anything and
allow myself to take time, because it is okay to go slow. We don't all need to be the hare in this rabbit race. Sometimes being the tortoise is fine. 3 ways I use the cousin size or the A5 size book for my Hobonichi. First, instead of doing gratitude journals, I switched to doing something called 10 Things. 10 Things is something that Alicia Summers does. You can find her on Instagram. She's an amazing writer, and all she does is she writes the top 10 things that is just swirling around in her head, rapid fire, no self-editing, just putting those thoughts down on paper. And some of them are gratitude, some of them are not, and that being the in-between is really, really good. The second thing that I like to use my Hobonichi cousin size for is actually something called solo adventures, or choose your own adventures, or solo RPGs. Now, what this is you have a system that is in place that you can use to go through and game and essentially play an RPG by yourself in your journal. My current favorite one that I am working on finishing, I've had a lot of other things that have come up, is going to be Apothecaria. It is a super, super cute game where you play as a witch who has come to a small town to try and figure out why your instructor, your teacher, has disappeared, and you are also trying to help the townspeople along the way. It's very good. There are plenty of other solo adventures out there. Colossal is one that I can think of offhand. I know there's a Jane Austen one. I know there is also different fantasy, like romance ones that you can play and participate in that I'm looking forward to getting to eventually. I also, along the same vein, I actually use this size, the A6 size, day free, to be my D&D adventure journal, where I keep track of a lot of those different things, and I do a lot of fun things in this book. And then the last of the 3 things that I recommend using is something called junk journaling. I actually call it a jig-jag book, because there are little scraps and pieces of paper of things from my daily life, whether it be cards that I'm given, little comics that I get from like jet pins, different wrapping from different packages that I buy that is really cute that I have a hard time wanting to throw away, or I have different things that come that wrapped up my yarn that I need to keep so I can remember the yarn that I used for a particular project. I like to keep all of those and put all of that into one container, one book, and that is something that you can do for your day-to-day.
I meant to post this a while ago, as I am easing into 2023, trying to make sure that I'm not rushing things. And with that means I have been slow to open up my Hobonichi 2023 to create daily pages. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be in this book. I've tried a few things, but I love keeping this book as a memory book alongside my weekly planner. This helps me be able to feel like I have captured the whole of my life, especially as there is so much I want to do and be and capture in those moments. One book is never enough to hold it all. And to symbolize that slow, new start that I'm working with, I've decided to change out my cover to be a part of the new collection. Not only is it in pastel purple, which makes me smile, I love constellations and stars, so it's a good new start. For the month of January, I find that my planner is rather empty. So let's take to my camera roll, where you can see I have had a very full month.
and with the help of the HP Sprocket, which allows you to print out tiny little stickers to be able to put anywhere you want. I can turn those blank pages into something full and vibrant, even if I don't feel like writing in them. You can tell that I have existed in this month, even if it is through references and things that bring me joy that I have saved in my camera roll. Hopped over to my local Kinokuniya in the Atlanta area, and they have some of the Hobonichi for 2024. Being able to see the mother cover and the stickers that it comes with was super fun, and this was really cute. Cuter than I thought it was looking online. They had the English edition of a lot of the books, which I might come back and take a proper look at later. They even had the Hobonichi Han here. Let's unbox my Hobonichi for 2024, since it got here much faster than I was expecting. I'm sticking with the original A6 size like I have been for the past few years. And I like the Hobonichi pin for this year. I did not like last year's. I got the Cherry Blossom Avenue cover as my new cover on cover because it reminds me of strawberry chocolate. And then my little free gift is this tiny day bag. I thought the Opanchu Osaki is really cute and funny in that, like, this is kind of fugly way. I don't know why she's in underwear, but it makes me laugh. I got this Kita tape. I was surprised about how shiny it was. And for my week's cover, I got the Emma and Georgina flower pattern. I really loved it. I'm glad I got it in the weeks. And then I liked this Kita tape because it reminds me of stamps. Next year, I'm really going to be living my pink girl life. It wasn't intended, but it's very aesthetically pleasing. It's Hobonichi unboxing time! Or as we like to call it, Hobonichi-miss. As with the past few years, me and my friends went in and ordered together. That way we don't miss anything on the launch day. We were a little disappointed that we only got one pretty box this year. Everything else came in a big giant box, all stuffed together. But hey, we got free shipping, so that was nice. Our Hobonichi order was a bit slimmer than it has been in previous years, but we did get a lot of little goodies. But you know which little goodie I am looking forward to the most opening in this? That it took us forever to dig out the box? That is, of course, the little pouch that we get. This little special tote bag was so much smaller than I thought it was going to be. I'm happy I got the day one. I was hoping for the onigiri. Like, look at it next to a coffee cup. It's so small. We each ended up getting 3 out of the 4 bags. My bestie got their leather cover this year. My other friend got their Avec original and 5-year. My friend returning from Japan got the Hon, and then my mom got both the lavender and the panda cover for her Avecs. For the theme Life is Present, the animals are so funny to me. Not because they say anything special, but because of their faces with the words. This one says, "I'll do my best this week," and the other cat says, "Delicious food makes me happy." Each of the sayings are just so fun and cute with the little doodles that come with them. That makes me happy. And my bestie got the stamps, and they're so tiny! Perfect to fit inside the Hobonichi box. Just look, it's so tiny! As for the little tote bag, it's just big enough to hold the A5 Hobonichi and some accessories.